I've fallen for someone. You can keep the kid.
Then let's get you divorced. My husband and mother-in-law selfishly tried to push me out, despite the years I've supported this farm. Why could they betray me so easily? Amidst this, someone unexpected saved me from the brink of despair. My name is Reina, a 38-year-old housewife. I've been married to Chris for 10 years. We met at a company in San Francisco, originally as senior and junior colleagues. He was 2 years my senior and trained me when I joined the company. Even after I became independent in my work, he always looked out for me. Our relationship grew closer as we worked on the same project. We became good friends quickly because we were always working together, and after the project ended, we started dating. Our relationship went smoothly, and then I found out I was pregnant. I was surprised to be pregnant before marriage, but he was thrilled. Chris said,
Reina, I know it's a bit out of order, but let's get married. We'll build a warm family together.
Yeah, sounds like a great plan. I happily agreed. I was glad he said that. Though we had only been dating for a year, I had hoped to be married by 30, so getting pregnant then seemed almost like a miracle. Little did I know, this was the beginning of hellish days. We immediately went to tell our parents. My parents lived in San Francisco, so we could easily visit them. They liked him and agreed to our marriage. Chris said,
Man, I was so nervous.
Aw, poor baby. You were even stumbling over your own name.
Well, meeting the parents for marriage is really nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I'm nervous about meeting your parents too. Chris reassured.
My parents will be fine. They were really happy when I told them we're getting married and expecting a child.
Oh, that's great. Wait, your family runs a farm, right? Does this mean you'll take over?
Well, eventually, I might.
Really? At that moment, I had a bad feeling. Maybe they would expect us to immediately take over the farm. But I was already pregnant, and calling off the marriage wasn't an option. Plus, I still loved him and didn't consider breaking up. So we went to his rural hometown together. Glad you could come.
Not only are you marrying into the family, but you're also ready to provide a successor? That's wonderful.
They selfishly moved the conversation forward, asking, So, when can you start working on the farm? I was stunned. His father then suggested,
It's better to learn the job early. You can live with us before the wedding. Chris, that's okay with you, right? Sure.
Wait a minute. What about your job, Chris?
Well, if I'm taking over the farm, I have to quit.
You can't just quit immediately. You need to give at least a month's notice.
Oh, I do? Sorry, Mom, Dad. We'll need about 2 months.
Well, if it's company policy, we can't help it. His father complained.
Companies should be more flexible.
Relieved we had at least 2 months, I wondered if all farm families were this forceful. I was shocked Chris so easily decided to move and take over the farm. Back in San Francisco, I confronted him. You said eventually about taking over, but at your parents', it seemed decided.
Well, I'm the oldest son. What do you expect?
That's not what I'm getting at. I wished he took more responsibility for his words, especially about something as significant as taking over a business. This made me anxious about our marriage. But there was no turning back. I quit my job to get married, and he quit to take over the farm. Moving in with his family, I was nervous, but his parents, surprisingly, were kind. You only do light work because you're pregnant.
Yeah, we need you and the baby to be healthy.
I thanked them. They made sure to reduce my workload.
Hey, Chris, you have to work harder to make up for Reina's work. Dad, I haven't done farm work in a while, so go easy on me.
Everyone was friendly, and I was happy. I thought we could live happily if it continued like this. But then his parents showed their true colors.
Reina, isn't it time to find out the baby's gender?
I suppose so.
Well, go ask your doctor.
Okay, I will. I wasn't alarmed yet, but should have realized they only accepted a boy. After I visited my OBGYN, I reported the results. So I went for my checkup today. It's a girl. We were eating dinner, and everyone all of a sudden put down their forks and looked stern. I became very anxious seeing their face change so suddenly. His parents sighed deeply and said,
A girl, huh? We hope for a successor, a boy. Reina, you were supposed to get it right on the first try.
I was speechless. Perhaps a successor is the most desired thing for a farming family, but couldn't they at least be a bit happier about the baby being born? I couldn't believe what I was hearing, both from my in-laws and my husband. I just wished at least my husband would stand by me. And what does he mean, get it right on the first try? A baby should be celebrated, not talked about as if it's a mere task. And after that, my in-laws treated me coldly as if they were different people.
Hey, what are you slacking off for? Hurry up and help with the farm work.
But it could strain the baby.
Don't be so soft. From now on, you'll work just like us.
But they tried to make me do the usual farm work as soon as they knew the baby was a girl. At first, I complied, but I feared for my baby's safety if I overexerted myself. So I insisted I wouldn't do farm work until after giving birth, regardless of what they said. They were furious, but the neighbors defended me when they heard about it.
It's cruel to make a pregnant woman so close to giving birth to farm work.
So considering the neighbors' opinions, they reluctantly stopped forcing me to help with the farm work. However, what the neighbors couldn't see was inside the house, where everything was different. Inside, they made me do all the housework.
Where's our food? Hey, we're out of liquor. You're such a useless daughter-in-law.
They harassed me while making me work hard. I did the housework in misery, wondering if I could safely deliver my child. I managed to give birth somehow, and my daughter was safely born. We named her Kendall. But my in-laws wouldn't even call her by her name.
Hey, the kid is being fussy. Take proper care of the kid, will you? You're her mother, so take care of her.
I was disgusted by their refusal to cherish my daughter. And after she was born, they mercilessly made me do farm work again.
Can't you move any faster? Such a useless daughter-in-law. Hey, Reina, get it together. We won't make the shipment on time.
They pressured me like that, and as if it were natural, they left all the household chores and childcare to me. Kendall was still a baby, so she cried at night. I had to get up and soothe her, which I didn't mind because I love her, but it meant I had less sleep before going to work in the fields. Doing hard labor on just 1 or 2 hours of sleep was extremely difficult. This situation continued for years, leaving me physically and emotionally exhausted. But I managed to endure because Kendall grew up to be such a wonderful girl. Mom, why don't we leave this house? One day, Kendall, now 9 years old, said to me, "It makes me sad to see you being blamed by Grandma and Grandpa." She cared about me and couldn't stand to see me oppressed by my in-laws. "I'm sorry, sweetie. If only I had the ability to earn money on my own, I could take you away from here." I felt powerless. After about 9 years of being forced to do nothing but farm work by my in-laws, it would be hard to find a general job now. And my in-laws wouldn't allow me to leave. I had resigned myself to being used as a maid by my in-laws. But then something unexpected happened. It was during dinner one evening. Chris suddenly said he needed to talk.
"I've fallen for someone else."
"What?"
"You can keep Kendall. I'm gonna be with my new girlfriend."
I couldn't believe my ears. What do you mean?"
"You're no longer needed," he said.
I didn't understand what he meant. But my in-laws quickly accepted what he said.
"Then let's get you divorced. Finally, we can get rid of this plague." "Alrighty, I'll get the divorce papers tomorrow then."
My husband and mother-in-law selfishly tried to push me out like that. I wanted a divorce too, but being confronted with it like this was psychologically damaging. I had tried my best for the sake of this farm, valuing the connections with clients and neighbors. Despite the years I supported this farm, why was I betrayed so easily? But my in-laws kept moving my belongings out of the room. Watching them, I thought they were like demons without any common sense. Staying with these people would ruin my daughter. Then my husband made an unbelievable statement.
"There will be no division of assets or alimony. And of course, no child support."
Whoa, wait a minute. That's not right. We can't live on that. And I don't agree.
"I don't give a shit about your life."
But I was in despair. He intended not to pay me any money at all. And they were quickly preparing to kick out me and my daughter. I had no choice but to leave the in-laws' house with Kendall, taking only the most necessary belongings. Since I had always worked on the farm, I hadn't received direct payments. So I withdrew money from the savings I had before marriage and stayed in the business hotel for the time being. However, my savings had decreased significantly because I had used them for Kendall's tuition and necessities. And since my parents had passed away in the 9 years since I got married, I had nowhere to return to. After staying one night in a business hotel, I took my daughter to a chain restaurant in the city center. We ordered the cheapest menu and shared it. What should we do now? At that moment, someone unexpected came to my rescue.
"Raina? Is that you?"
"Oh, hello." The person who approached me was Mr. Berg, the manager of the company that buys vegetables from my in-laws' farm.
"What are you doing with such big luggage?"
He must have realized something was wrong by looking at me and my daughter and asked with a serious expression. I was at my wit's end and found myself telling him everything. I didn't care if he believed me or not. I had to talk to someone. I felt like I would break down if I didn't.
"Oh, wow, I see."
He was on a break from work, but listened to my story attentively the whole time.
"So the rumors were true,"
he said. "Rumors?"
"Yeah, I've heard from the neighbors that your in-laws were mistreating you."
"I see."
"And to think he's having an affair and not paying alimony or child support is the worst."
Then he offered,
"Would you let me handle this situation?" Also, if you want, I could talk to my sister and let you and your daughter stay at her place for a while."
"I couldn't possibly impose like that."
"Don't worry about it. Everyone knows how hard you've worked on the farm."
He immediately contacted his sister and took me and my daughter to her apartment. Lisa's place was spacious, clean, and she herself was very beautiful and kind. I've heard about your situation from my brother, Reina. Make yourselves at home. Thank you so much, Lisa. She played a lot with Kendall, who quickly grew to love her. After that, Mr. Berg provided support I never imagined possible. He introduced me to a lawyer he knew, a very capable one who offered his full support. Thankfully, the lawyer agreed to wait for his fees until we received money from Chris. And Mr. Berg also found me a job. It was a clerical part-time position at the company where he worked. They were just thinking about hiring. I worked hard, grateful to him and Lisa, and prepared with the lawyer to claim alimony and other dues from my ex-husband. I sent a certified letter to Chris's house when we were ready. He contacted me immediately, furious.
What the hell do you think you're doing sending me a certified letter? Are you trying to scare me?
But thanks to Mr. Berg and Lisa, I had the courage to stand up to him. You can ignore it if you want, but that means we'll go to court.
Court? Wait, are you serious?
Of course I am. You think you can get away with not paying alimony, child support, or dividing property? That's ridiculous. I'll demand everything through the lawyer, and I'll keep fighting until you pay. Reluctantly, he agreed to pay. The lawyer Mr. Berg introduced was so capable that we could claim a significant amount in alimony from Chris. Neighbors testified about the emotional abuse I suffered, which helped us claim additional alimony for that too. Of course, we could claim child support, and he ended up having to pay me a large sum. Then Mr. Berg told Chris's family that his company would stop doing business with them if they didn't pay me. It turns out the company he works for was owned by his father. Chris's family depended heavily on Mr. Berg's company, so losing their business would ruin them. Thus, he had no choice but to pay the alimony and other dues. I received over $350,000 from the mistress, Chris's infidelity, emotional abuse alimony, and child support. But then Chris and his parents faced hell. Mr. Berg's company ceased their dealings with them, decided by his father. They had only continued the contract because of a good relationship with Chris's grandfather, who had already passed away. There was no need to keep the contract any longer. This incident revealed Chris and his parents' true nature to other local businesses, many of whom wanted to end their contracts. Their business failed, and they fell into debt. The mistress quickly left Chris, leaving him alone and in debt. Realizing how much I had done for them, my ex-husband contacted me, wanting to reconcile. But there was no way I would go back. I firmly rejected him and blocked his contact. Now I'm still working at Mr. Berg's company. I have rented a new place for me and my daughter, and we're living happily together. My relationship with Mr. Berg has grown closer, and we've actually started dating. We often go out as a trio with my daughter. Whether this will lead to marriage, I don't know, but I'm enjoying my time with them and feeling very happy. I plan to continue cherishing my daughter as a single mother, enriching both my private life and career.